Hello, I'm Mrs. Charity. Welcome to the Glorious Heritage Overview of Catholic Church History. Discover the amazing story of the Church together as a family as you color and paste your way through the timeline and printables, which you can find on our website. And now, let's move into our topic for today.
Hello, I'm Mr. Charity, and welcome to the Glorious Heritage Catholic History video series. Today's topic is number 71, the Treaty of Verdun. If you look on your timeline and summary question sheets, you'll notice that we are in the yellow time period, which we have named Kingdom. If you don't have a timeline or summary question sheets, you can find them on our website. We've been talking in the last couple videos about the Crusades and about other people and events in the 12th and 13th centuries. But today, I want to go back and talk about something from an earlier time. A very important event called the Treaty of Verdun, and changed how Europe would be organized for the rest of its history right up until our present day. Before we talk about the Treaty of Verdun, what it is and what it did, let me tell you a story first. About 15 years ago, Mrs. Charity and I were newly married and had a couple young children. We decided to buy a farm so we could learn how to grow our own food, milk cows, how to keep bees, and other wonderful things like that. In order to keep cows, I had to build a fence so they wouldn't escape. This was a big and difficult job, but I was younger, stronger, and was ready for the challenge. So I started to dig holes for the new fence posts, and then I had to start the dangerous part of the job, which was putting up the barbed wire. Barbed wire is very sharp and can cut you if you're not careful. Well, I was not careful enough. I was in a hurry to get the fence up because the babies were crying and I wanted to help my wife inside the house. The barbed wire ended up making a big cut on my arm. I went inside and cleaned it up and put a bandage on it and it was okay. Anyway, that cut turned into a scar and that scar has never went away. I still have it today on my left arm. When I got that cut way back 15 years ago, I never realized that I would have that scar for the rest of my life. Someday when I die, when I lay in my casket, that scar will still probably be on my arm. Well, this taught me a lesson that I won't forget. The lesson is this: sometimes things happen, good things or bad things, big things or small things. But I realized that the consequences of actions we take or decisions that we make will often be with us for the rest of our lives. We might not think those decisions or actions are important at the time, but in reality they are very important and actually will change the future, not just for us, but sometimes for other people as well. This was the case with the Treaty of Verdun. Remember that we talked about Charlemagne in the previous video. Charlemagne was made the very first Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope in the year 800. Then Charlemagne went on to conquer pretty much all of Western Europe and ruled over this new, vast Catholic empire. The Holy Roman Empire would last 1,000 years longer until it was eventually destroyed by Napoleon in 1806. And we'll talk about that in a later video. Anyway, when Charlemagne died, his son, Louis the Pious, inherited the whole empire. Louis had 4 sons, and it didn't take long for them to start fighting about it. After all, which of his 4 sons was going to be given the empire? They all wanted to rule over it, but there could only be one emperor. So eventually, there was an agreement to divide up the empire between his sons, so they each got to rule part of it. One of his sons died, so really there was only a 3-part division of his empire. They fought each other for the best and biggest piece of land. Eventually, in the year 843, they signed a treaty to agree about which son got which part of Charlemagne's empire. Louis the Pious's sons were named Charles, Louis, and Lothair. Charles ended up receiving the western part of the empire. Lothair received the central part of the empire, and Louis received the eastern part of the empire. These 3 new kingdoms established boundary lines that changed Europe forever. Remember, I just told you that decisions and actions have long-lasting consequences. while the Treaty of Verdun established new kingdoms in Western Europe that lasted for centuries afterwards. The western part of the empire, which was received by Charles, this became the Kingdom of France. The modern-day country of France is still in that land today. The middle part of the land became what is now northern Italy, and the eastern part, which was received by Louis, kept the name the Holy Roman Empire, and it eventually turned into the modern-day country of Germany that you and I can see on a map today. What would it have been like if these three sons of Louis the Pious would never have fought over the land? It's possible that Europe would have remained one big Holy Roman Empire, like it was under Charlemagne. Well, God's will be done. We just need to remember to do God's will and make decisions that please Him, because bad decisions have long-lasting consequences. Now Mrs. Charity is going to tell you about the German name Ludwig and where it came from.
Hello, I am Mrs. Charity. Have you ever heard the German name Ludwig before? There is a famous classical music composer named Beethoven, who I am sure you heard of. Did you know his name was Ludwig von Beethoven? Germany also had many kings named Ludwig as well. The name Ludwig is the German version of the name Louis, and Louis is the French version of the name Clovis. So all the King Louises of France and all the King Ludwigs of Germany are all named after the first great Catholic King Clovis. Amazing!
Welcome back. Now let me tell you a story about the three sons of Louis the Pious and how they fought for their grandfather's empire. The bells of the abbey tolled, as if in sadness for the fragmentation of the Holy Roman Empire. Monks in their cloisters prayed for peace, while bishops meditated on the implications for the faithful. The empire that Charlemagne had built, which had stood as a bulwark of the Catholic faith, was now to be split among his heirs. Lothair, the eldest, held fast to his imperial title, yet his realm, a middle kingdom stretching from the North Sea all the way to Italy, it seemed a corridor connecting disparate lands. Louis the German and Charles the Bald, each in their own right, took to the east and to the west, their territories prefiguring the nations of Germany and France. The treaty, though secular in nature, bore great significance for the Church. It was the Church that had crowned Charlemagne, and it was the Church that watched as his legacy was portioned out. The unity of Christendom was mirrored in the unity of the empire, and now it seemed to fracture. Yet in the wisdom of God, this division would lead to new kingdoms that would each go on to bring the gospel of Christ to other lands. The Catholic Church, ever the mother and teacher of the faithful, would go on to shepherd her children in these new lands. As the parchment of the treaty was marked with seals, the sons of the empire parted ways. The world of Christendom braced for change, trusting in God's plan. For though kingdoms may be divided, his church would stand united, under the Vicar of Christ, the Pope. Well, that's all for today. Next time we'll talk about the two great missionaries to the Slovak peoples, Saints Cyril and Methodius. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. Visit our website, www.gloriousheritagecartoons.com, where you can find more educational supplements, cartoons, books, and printables. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to get notified of our latest updates and videos. And if you like our work and want to support us, you can make a donation on our website or on Patreon. We really appreciate your generosity and kindness. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.